Welcome to this very festive edition of true crime and tapping. They seek her there, ASMR or Taylor. And this is my best skull friend, the ghost of Christmas past. Francis. And today, in great keeping with old traditions of telling scary stories around the fire during the holidays, I'm going to tell you a true crime related story that happened to me on Christmas Eve in the early 1990s. Now, we can all suppose how that story ended as I am sitting before you right now. But the outcome in no way diminishes how scary the events that I'm about to describe to you now felt at the time. And usually in this series, I like to cover cases, some well known and some not very much, but never so personal as the one I'm about to share today. But I thought it might be a little fun, since it is the holidays, to tell this story. And maybe you'll have a little one of your own to share with me. I hope not too horrible, in the comments after you watch this video. Let's get into it. This story takes place Christmas night, December 24th in 1995. I was 4 years old. I was home with my mother, who at the time would have been in her late 20s, and my sister, who would have been 8 years old. My father had gone out to play poker with some friends of his from work at someone's home. And at the time, we lived in an old house in the middle of nowhere. Well, it felt like it, I should say, because it was about 60 miles outside of Chicago, where I was born and mostly raised. It was about 9 p.m. and my youngest brother was asleep upstairs in his bedroom he was 2 years old at the time. My mother had just put him to bed, and she was letting my sister and I stay up and finish watching a Christmas movie before we were sent to bed. Though I don't clearly recall the movie at the time, I believe it was something like Frosty the Snowman or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, one of the classics. As we were wrapping up the movie, we heard a car door slam in our driveway, and I will add this little detail right now, that when we lived in this house, it had not one, but 2 driveways, because it was old, and the house itself was on the lot before the driveways had been built. At some point, a house on the block had been demolished, and our house ended up with 2 driveways. It's dark outside, but my mother goes to the window to look and see who's pulled up in the driveway. She was thinking that my dad had gotten home early from his poker game. But that wasn't the case, and instead she found a gray Oldsmobile sedan parked in the driveway, late 80s, early 90s model. She didn't recognize the car, and that immediately set off warning bells in her mind. Because we didn't live near any family, and no one was set to come over that night, so she was instantly suspicious, but thought innocently that maybe someone had parked in the wrong driveway and was trying to go to the house next door. With the double driveway situation, people had done it before, and this wouldn't have been the first time. Where someone would mistakenly come up to our door and ring the bell, thinking that they were meant to be at our house when they were really looking for our neighbors. A while goes by, a few minutes, and then the doorbell rings. My mom peeks out the front windows through our blinds and sees a man dressed as Santa Claus on the front stoop. She doesn't answer the door because she doesn't recognize the man, even if he's in this Santa Claus getup. My sister and I are so weirded out by this turn of events that we walk from our living room, which was attached to the dining room, and run under our table in the dark. So I remember hiding under a dining room chair and peeking out towards the living room, and then trying to catch a glimpse in the other room that was in front of it, where our porch and the front door were, to see if my mom was going to answer the front door where this mysterious stranger was standing. The stranger called out an unfamiliar man's name that I don't actually remember today. He then called out our correct address, which is what really sparked my mom's fear, and she crept slowly away from the front door and went to find our phone in the living room on the side table next to the door. She dialed the number of my dad's coworker where he was playing the poker game, and this was slightly before people had cell phones. I'm dating myself a little bit here. I believe my father had a work phone, but it wasn't a normal usage cell phone at the time, so she had to call his coworker's house. Luckily, someone did answer pretty quickly. She was thinking that it had been someone who worked with my dad who decided to play a prank on him, or maybe he had decided to play a funny prank on us and sent someone from the party dressed as Santa to tease us. She asked him 3 times if this was the case, and he insisted that it wasn't. In the span of their conversation, which lasted probably about 5 to 10 minutes, one of his other friends, not the coworker, but another man who was there playing poker at the home, suggested that it might have been another one of their coworkers who had left early, and he had been drinking. He shouldn't have been driving, but he was insisting that maybe he had come to our house and decided to play this prank on us. This was about 3 minutes into their conversation, but right before my mother was going to hang up, that man came back into the house. He had come back because he had left his house keys at the coworker's place, and so it wasn't him. And I remember hearing all of this in the background, and then also hearing the man knocking on our door, that Santa Claus was still on the stoop of our house, insisting that he was to be let into our home and that he was meant to be there. All happening at once, and my sister and I were just pushed up against each other under the dining room table, peeking out, thinking, what were we going to do if this man who was dressed as Santa Claus got into our house? I'm saying this with a little bit of amusement now, but at the time I remember thinking, where could I possibly hide in my house that he would never find us? Because our house wasn't that big, especially the downstairs area that we still had access to. Behind us, there was a kitchen and a bathroom and a basement and then the back door. And I remember thinking, could we make it to the back door if the Santa Claus got in? My parents wrapped up their conversation with a declaration that my mother was going to call the police as soon as she hung up with my dad. She hung up about a minute later, and then when she stopped talking, it was very quiet. We couldn't hear the Santa Claus knocking at the door anymore or talking through the door. My sister glanced at me, and I looked at her, and I looked across at where my mother was standing in the doorway between our living room and our porch, just staring at the front door. I can't remember if I jumped when I heard the car start, or if I backed up, getting ready to climb finally out from underneath the dining room table. But the Santa had left, and he had gotten into his car, and he was driving away, backing slowly out of our driveway. My mother creeping over to the side window in our living room that could see out into that driveway, making sure he left, and sighing in relief when his car finally took off down the street. To this day, we don't know who that mysterious Santa Claus was, if he truly got our address mixed up with another, if it was someone we just didn't recognize in the Santa disguise, or perhaps something more sinister than all of that. I've looked up several things, trying to find anything that might be related to this incident online, but I've never come across anything that was like it, that took place on that night, in that year. And so it will remain just a spooky story I share with you during this holiday time, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed telling it. I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you have a very happy holiday, and you have had a very happy holiday season. It's a rough one out there, again, and I just want to wish you safety and love and peace and everything at this time. Take care of yourselves. If you have a creepy story you'd like to share in keeping with old tradition, comment below, tell me what it is, or just request the next case. I am still taking requests for these videos. I will have another one out very soon, as I'm done with my hiatus right now, and I cannot wait to bring you more true crime and tapping stories in the near future. Thank you all so much. Take care of yourselves out there. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.